Have you heard that phrase where somebody says, as a leader, is everyone on your bus? Well, I'd like to share with you why getting everyone on your bus might make your school good, but it's highly unlikely to make your school great. I'm Sonia Gill, founder and director of Heads Up, and at Heads Up, we specialise in helping schools become genuinely outstanding for your children, because let's face it, no one does it for Ofsted. So the bus, let's touch on that briefly, because I don't like the bus metaphor. Why? Well, think about it. You're up front as the head teacher and you're in the driving seat, right? You're there, you're driving, you're changing gears, you're indicating, you're looking everywhere. And maybe you've got your deputy head next to you and they're navigating, watching out for potential hazards, trying to find good shortcuts, supporting you in getting that bus going forward. But what's going on the rest of the bus? Well, I might be sitting there. I might be watching avidly. But actually, think about the metaphor. When I'm sitting as a passenger on a bus, I am a passenger. I can be doing anything I like. You're up front driving. And this is why I don't like the bus metaphor, because let's face it, do you want your school to be like that with you and your deputy, maybe a few school leaders really driving it forward? Or maybe a great teacher being up front with you, but everybody else being passive? No. So I prefer the boat, and specifically a rowing boat. Now, the great thing about this rowing boat is it helps you understand just where is your school on that journey to great, because we all want to create great education for our children. And I like to think of this boat as being a boat with 100 oars. You can picture it, oars down either side, all the way along. Thinking about this boat so they can help you assess just where your school is, because I want you to think about this boat as having 3 sections. So at one end of the boat, there's you. Yeah, I imagine many, if not all of your SLT, and maybe some absolutely incredible members of staff, wherever they are in your school, TAs, teachers, admin. But what sets this group apart at one end of the boat is you're not just rowing, because let's face it, we're only going to get so many oar strokes in the time that we're on this boat. So you're not just making those oar strokes, you're thinking, how can I make every single stroke be even better? Yeah, so how can I make it give us more forward momentum? Do I need to put it in a different angle? Do you need to push differently? What are all the really fine-tuning ways that I can get more out of every single stroke, because there's a limited number you're going to be able to do in the time you have available in your school. That's how the top end of the boat are operating. In the middle of the boat, we're rowing. We might not be going into that level of detail. We might not have the capacity at this stage to go into that level of detail in terms of everything we're juggling, but we're rowing. Every now and then our oar might come out for a brief break, but generally, if I'm sitting in that middle section of the boat, I'm rowing that boat. And then we go to the other end of the boat, and at that end, my oar could be out of the water. Worse, it could be digging in and not helping the boat move forward, in fact, hindering it. Now, it might not be doing that all the time, but it can happen. There might be points you think, oh, Sonia's oar's dug in again. Okay, it'll come back out at some point, or she'll start rowing, but right now we're digging in on this. Now, think about those 3 sections of the boat and think about your team. Roughly what percentage are in each section? To give you a gauge of what this looks like in differing schools, and generally in a good school, what you'll find is the majority, kind of around a good 60%, could sit in the middle. Yeah, that section where we're rowing, not quite as fine-tuned and getting the absolute maximum out of every stroke, but we are rowing. They'll be in the middle. And then you'll have a split between the rest at the top end, where you and colleagues like you are, and the other end where perhaps we're digging in or not rowing. Yeah. In schools that are less than good, that bottom end will be bigger. But in great schools, what you find, and I have spent over a decade walking into stunning, outstanding schools, ones that you would love and really see that outstanding education. In those schools, every single oar is rowing like your oar. Now, imagine, when you think of those sections of your boat, imagine if everybody was rowing like you were. Imagine what kind of school you would create. This is what we help schools do at Heads Up. We help schools get everyone on board. To get rid of those inconsistency issues, to get everyone not just being on board because they're compliant, but wanting to row that hard, wanting to give everything. And this is what we see time and time again in great schools, genuinely outstanding schools. We see that actually everyone's on board towards a common purpose and vision. If you'd like to learn how you can do that and get some wonderful practical tips, then come along to my training day, Breaking the Glass Ceiling of Good. It's one day for you and your SLT. It's a great day. We run it online. We get really strong feedback, 9.7, 9.8 out of 10. You're going to get a ton of practical tips to help you think about, what's your boat like? Who's on board with you? Who's really driving? Who isn't? And how can we support them to be really on board with you? And if on that day, if all we did was improve the bottom end of the boat, think of the difference that would make. Well, what if we could help you improve the majority of the boat? What difference would that make to your education for your pupils? So come along to Breaking the Glass Ceiling of Good. You can find the link at ukheadsup.com and the link below. And let's get 100% of those oars rowing in the water so that you can provide the stunning education that you want to and that your children deserve.